Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. Katie, here's the thing. I don't think that she understands the difference between actual evidence and um, circumstantial situations, right? And she comes to Bill and she's like, I got evidence, I got proof or whatever. I was like, that's not proof. So at some point she was blasting Poppy and stuff like that. And Poppy comes into the door over here to Luna. So they come into the room. And like I said on Friday, or like you watched on Friday, she's all like, well, he had the backpack there. I mean, she had the backpack there with the letters from Tom. Um, and she also saw Tom, and she said, and I quote, from Luna, which got this from RJ, I'll sit there and take care of this. That she was the last person, she saw Tom before his death. And when Poppy's like, how did you find this stuff out? Katie's like, RJ. RJ told me it all. So Poppy turns around and looks at Luna like, are you serious? Like, you really just sat there and told your boyfriend everything. Now Luna's like, well, I was really upset and he was there. But I know that Luna had that look like, yeah, I did tell him in confidence, not since they're thinking under an hour he was gonna run straight to his aunt and just blab his goddamn mouth open. Which, by the way, he doesn't stop there. My goodness, this guy is kind of a shitty boyfriend because he goes to Ridge and Brooke and tells them all that as well. Now, I'm wondering also, does Ridge know? Does Ridge know about the whole mint with Zende because of the Poppy and stuff like that? Does he know about that? I'm just very curious about that. But anyway, yeah. So he tells them everything, and he's like, I'm just really worried about Luna and stuff like that, and how this is going to affect her. I was like, if that was the case, you would have kept your mouth shut. You wouldn't have ran to your family in under an hour after she just told you this, and what you can assume at this point it's confidential. But he's all like, oh, I'm just worried about her. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Um, Now while that's going on, just to kind of flip back to Spencer's, I guess. Will and Liam. So first of all, one of the things he does at the end say to Liam is like, yeah, my first interaction with Poppy wasn't really great. I saw her, with Dad and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, but whose fault was that though? You went in this man's bedroom, knowing that Poppy was in his life. What did you think he was going to wind up seeing, right? And then he's like, well, it's very suspicious that after 20 years, she just now decides to sit there and get a paternity test. And I'm like, is it really that suspicious though? Because, hell, they could have met each other and not actually exchange names, right? So, I mean, just because he's a big publication magazine guy, whatever, doesn't mean that she knows that. Doesn't mean that she reads his, all the magazines or whatever. So, like, it is possible that she didn't really know him until she met him at Deacon's restaurant. And then she talks about how, oh, it's very strange, them just moving in so fast into the place, into my place or whatever. Or something that he said. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's not your place anymore. That's not just your place anymore. Like, Luna is his daughter. And she has just as much right to that house as much as you. You're not that special. Like, why? It's just like this whole me, mine's complex. I'm like, bro, what are you, 5 years old? And then, he's sitting there asking, like, oh, well, what did he say? Where's my notes at? And he's asking like, well, did she ever get? I'm like, did you ever get over my mom? And I'm like, no offense, but you're kind of too old for that at this point. Like, yeah, ideally, I understand that people want their parents back together, but at some point when you start to grow up, you kind of realize that that's more of a fantasy than a reality. And also, what does it matter if he ever got over her? Because it was Katie that didn't want to sit there and be with him anyway. So it's like you're trying to make it seem like, oh, well, Poppy is just going to sit there and be, or he replaced her with Poppy or whatever. Like, he didn't sit there and try to fight to get her back. And that's some irritating shit. That is some extremely irritating shit. Like, one, they're grown ass adults. Let them figure it out. Two, don't put all this on Bill like it was supposed to be Bill that was supposed to sit there and win her back. Um, it's like this character's just not getting any better. Now, one of the things he does sit there and say is that, he's suspicious of both of them, but particularly Poppy. But he doesn't really have a reason why. Like, okay, yeah, they moved in kind of fast and everything like that, but that's was on more your dad moving them in than them just being like, oh, they just want to move in or whatever. Um, okay, so now circling back to them. So after Katie comes up with these claims and everything, and Poppy's denying them left and right or whatever, they get a knock on the door. It's Baker. And Katie's like, yeah, I called her. I was like, whoa, you called 5-0 on a bunch of coincidences? What are you gonna call you, Katie the Karen now at this point? What the hell are you doing? But Baker comes in. Big comes in with the backpack. He also comes in with Poppy's mints, especially lace mints that are deadly. So at this point, he's like, listen, I got evidence, I got all this right here, right at your apartment. I had a search warrant and everything. So now they got evidence, right? Backpack just happens to be there, and Luna been asking from day one, like, why is this here? Now, there, the killer could have probably put the backpack in there and framed her. I mean, people were sitting there acting like frame jobs have never happened before on Born the Beautiful. Karen, might as well call her Karen at this point. Katie's just like super sure, and Luna's like, "Did you do it? Did you kill so and so?" And part of me's like she says that like she's convinced, and I'm like, you should, out of everybody in that room, give Poppy more the benefit of the doubt, more than anybody here. So like, kind of a shitty daughter right now, you know? Like, Bill, whatever, he doesn't really know Poppy. Katie has been on her Karen BS. But you, I expect a little bit more loyalty than that. And at that point, Bill's like, do what you gotta do. I hope this isn't true. They cuff her up, send her away, and, Katie just has that look like she's vindicated. Now, when it turns out that it's not Poppy, first of all, see, this is the issue. First of all, Luna, I think you should dump him. You should dump Mister. I want to sit there and tell everybody our business, Mister. I can't keep things between us. You can't be my confidant. See, first of all, you need to sit there and just send him packing. Now the problem is, send him packing. You're gonna be with who? Zende? I kind of feel like your interaction the first time was kind of tainted. So I don't know exactly how much fans are going to get on board with that. But with that being aside, hey, at least with him, you can sit there and kind of keep things between you and him without having blabbermouth just go and tell the family, whoever else, to sit there and listen. So if they do it, I'm cool with it. I don't know how everybody else gonna feel, but I'm cool with it. Um, Anyway, I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else. Not sure if I'm actually going to do the live stream tonight or if I'm just going to do all four of the soaps and just do it tomorrow, which I would actually have more time to do a live stream. But I'll write in the comment section either way and let people know, and we'll go from there. All right.